Hello everyone, and it's me, Hunter. I'm back at you with another non-Star Wars Lego MOC. Today I decided to try and build a harbor. Originally this was going to be a one-day project where I build it all in one day, tear it down the next day or two. However, due to some changes in my equipment and building in my Lego room, now as you know it's being rebuilt, I had to actually hold off on a little bit. I had to leave. We did some painting and some other stuff, so it smelled bad. Anyone who's done a lot of painting, or I think we're using spray, some some kind of spray that goes with the insulation. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, but it smells a lot, and it's you shouldn't be sitting around in the same area of it. And since we're doing it in my basement, obviously, there's no good ventilation. So I had to, leave the basement for a little bit, which is where I built this. I'm actually out in the main room right now. I built this. I don't know if I'll post a time lapse to it. I did a time lapse using my camera you see here. Originally I was going to use my phone. However, the day I sat down to build, about 80% of this was my birthday. And me trying to record something on my phone for like all day while I'm getting texts and phone calls and social media updates, it just wasn't a good choice. So I went ahead with this camera, which also took me a lot longer because I can only get about an hour's worth of video before I got to recharge my camera for about 45 minutes. So that also slowed me down, held me up. Without further ado, let's get into this harbor. It's the first time I've done a kind of more city build, harbor build. I just, at least at the time of recording this video, this is the same day I just posted that forest bridge video. That was something different for me. This is something different for me. Both of these builds are something I've wanted to do since I've started to build the steam locomotives. So I thought I'd go ahead and give it a try. Not 100%, not great, but I don't think it's too bad. I liked it. I had fun with it, and I think that's the important part, is just having fun with the build. So we're just going to go ahead and work left to right. Moving on. So we'll start in the water too, working left to right. So I did this harbor. I went back and forth between the style you see here, which is kind of, I guess the best way I can put it is like the harbor goes back. So there's train yards and other stuff, and this would continue right and left. Or I was going to do kind of an island style where I have it came out kind of down the middle, about the same width. I would have two tracks in it just like this, and excuse me, and I would have boats and barges and vessels docked on either side. The big reason for doing this is the water. I only have 6 of these plates, and by going this route, I could actually go 4 wide, and use as much space as possible on this desk. I wanted to go 5 wide, but the desk does not hold a 5 small base plate, blue base plate build. Second reason is I have 2 of these vessels, but as you can see too, I also took off the sticker on this one. I rotated. This is my custom. I put 2 shrimp boats together to get this bigger build, and I didn't want to use my shrimp boats because my shrimp boats I'm using, I'm working on a little kind of custom company of a shrimp fleet, or a custom shrimp fleet, and so what I basically did is it was going to be the same boat, but I got rid of the shrimp sticker, so they're just a regular fishing vessel. And as you can see, one of the crew members made an oops and dropped one of the crates of fish onto the deck of the boat. And then my second kind of actual vessel is this barge. As many of you might know, this is my Bulstrode build, except I got rid of the face. The nice part about at least Bulstrode compared to some of the other Thomas the Tank Engine models is you can easily take off the face, and I can just use this as a regular barge, regular boat, especially if I kind of stick to these like the late 1800s, early 1900s era. It's a good solid boat, and this barge with the 2 crew members are actually unloading some kind of gravel, some sort of almost, some rocks onto into some freight cars. Lastly, we have this really bad put together hodgepodge barge. Essentially what it is, since I have to buy several of the shrimp boats to build a bigger boat. Obviously I don't need all the parts, so I did this kind of where this is a self-propelled barge. This right here is obviously you need a tugboat to move it back and forth, so I loaded it with some of these extra parts I had. If you know Jang Bricks, his city, he uses a lot of these as cargo, and I actually really like them. The look of them as cargo. So when I got cups from my local Bricks and Minifig store. I always picked up a couple, so I had a whole bunch extra to do cargo with. We'll work our way back now onto the dock itself, or the harbor platform. We'll run along the edge here. Well, I guess we'll just do the whole thing front and back and continue over. So we have the signal tower up front. Basically, I wanted to use this tower. I really like this tower. It's from the latest cargo train. I think it's the heavy, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's the green cargo train from I want to say 19, late 2018, early 19. I'm not 100% sure, but I really like the tower and I wanted to use it. Though I didn't really need to put a signal tower in here, I thought it was a good choice, and that's what I went with. Then you can see we have my large tank engine, which I also recently, I think a couple weeks ago, I put out. The engine's backing up. It's got a couple freight cars loaded up with various goods, kind of ready to shunt off into the larger train. I got some other kind of cargo pieces back here on the dock sitting, waiting to be loaded at a later date. When you make our way forward, I got 2 of these trucks. If you recognize them, again, they're actually my Thomas the Tank Engine troublesome trucks. I just took their faces off, and they're being loaded with the fish from the fishing boat that dropped one of its crates. Up front, you can see the captain of the ship kind of scolding the crew member that dropped the boat, or dropped the fish. We have goldfish and some light blue fish, I don't know, just different kinds of fish really to represent other food, other sea life. Just another closed crate over here. We got a dock worker. The dock workers are in blue. The green workers are railway employees. So I kind of thought I'd try something and I differ them up, where on the dock, obviously you have the people who work on the dock, but since they do work closely with the railway, they have some railway members working. So dock members are blue uniform, red helmet, green uniform, white helmet are the railway employees. So we kind of continue this way. We have the crane. I picked up the red cargo train from Bricks and Minifigs, and I decided to implement it into the build. It's just unloading the rock from the barge. Another crate here. We got one guy we got a dock worker chasing a railway worker, because railway worker picked up this wrench and was going to go and try to finish his project, but this dock worker needs it at the moment. It's his personal wrench, so he's trying to chase him down. We have one of these freight cars that is partially full. We got another freight car that's pretty much full. I apologize for my shadow. I don't have any real good way to film this. And then we got my little red tank engine here. We got a dock worker kind of looking up, talking with the engineer while they're waiting for the cars to be loaded. Some more cargo here. 2 more employees talking here. Some kind of large canisters. And I apologize if you hear my stomach in the background. It's late and I'm hungry. And then 3 more workers. Just back here talking and working, and he's making sure there's no cargo in the way of the train as it moves away. Lastly, though, actually, before I forget, these custom buffers I made, I'm actually really proud of them. It took me a little bit to figure out how I wanted to do the buffers. I think they turned out great. I'm going to do a how-to build, I think, on them, just because I want the video showing me for reference later on the day how I built them, but also just for anyone else who's looking for a simple wooden buffer design. So that's the whole mock. I can only get 10 minutes of video on my camera, and I want to do this in 10 minutes or less. Unfortunately, I did a little bit more rambling than I would like to in the beginning of this video. But that's it. This is kind of my second non-Star Wars mock that I've done. I don't know if you like these. I don't know if you do. If you don't, dislike, let me know. That way I can kind of decide if I want to do more builds like this. Obviously, I enjoy it, so you will see more builds probably like this. But depending on their popularity, depends how many or how often I do them, or even if I share them in general. But otherwise, I want to thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, like this video or dislike this video. Let me know how I'm doing. Follow me on Instagram, or you can email me if you want to leave a comment on this build. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video.